खिलवाड़ किया। दिल्ली के बच्चों के जीवन के साथ, दिल्ली की महिलाओं के जीवन के साथ आपने ठीक नहीं किया। जिन महिलाओं ने चीख चीख कर कहा कि हमारी कॉलोनी में 10-10 ठेके खुले जा रहे हैं, यह भ्रष्टाचार का अड्डा है, आपने सुना नहीं। और इसका कारण है कि आज आप सलाखों के पीछे जा रहे हैं। जीरो टॉलरेंस फॉर करप्शन, भ्रष्टाचार को लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जीरो टॉलरेंस है। यह किसी प्रकार से भी राजनीति का विषय नहीं है और भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ यह लड़ाई, यह जंग हमेशा जारी रहेगी और रहनी भी चाहिए, क्योंकि स्वच्छ राजनीति, नशा मुक्त राजनीति, यही भारतीय जनता पार्टी हमेशा से ही कहते रही है। एजेंसीज एंड द पार्टीज, दीज आर सेपरेट इश्यूज। द वॉर वुड बी फॉट इन द बैटल ग्राउंड ऑफ कोर्ट्स। आप कोर्ट्स में लड़िए। सत्येंद्र जैन के लिए भी आप यही कह रहे थे कि वो बिल्कुल पाक साफ है, दूध के धुले हुए हैं, मगर कोर्ट ने अभी तक उन्हें बेल ग्रांट नहीं किया है। क्या कारण है कोर्ट ने उन्हें बेल ग्रांट नहीं किया है? क्योंकि देयर इज मेरिट इन द केस, केस में मेरिट है, इसलिए बेल नहीं ग्रांट हुआ है। और आज बिल्कुल हम कह सकते हैं देयर इज मेरिट इन द केस ऑफ मनीष सिसोदियाज करप्शन इन एक्साइज पॉलिसी, इसमें भी मेरिट है। इसलिए आप जिस प्रकार का ड्रामा कर रहे हैं, जिस प्रकार का दिखावा कर रहे हैं, दिखावे और ड्रामा से कुछ नहीं होता है। आप टेक्निकली इस विषय को जनता के सामने रखिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कोई प्रश्न हो तो अवश्य पूछें।
It is the explosive weekend debate, and what an explosive weekend it's turned out to be. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, after 8 hours of grilling, has been arrested by the CBI in the Delhi liquor gate scam. The CBI says Manish Sisodia was not cooperating with the probe. His answers were evasive. He was confronted with some documents in the liquor gate probe, and he was not giving satisfactory answers to it. And therefore, a little past 7:30 this evening, he was served with an arrest memo and formally arrested by the CBI. He will now have to be produced before a magistrate in the next 24 hours. But the political battle lines have already been drawn. The Aam Aadmi Party is calling this out and right political vendetta by the BJP. This is yet another illustration of the BJP's high-handedness and the use of agencies like CBI, ED and IT to drum down the opposition's voice. The BJP, on the other hand, you heard Sambit Patra a moment ago, coming out and saying that there is absolute merit in the case against Manish Sisodia, that this entire change of excise policy was a scam. It made Delhiites more addicted to liquor. There were liquor shops opening up in residential colonies next to schools and hospitals. He also went on to say Kejriwal needs to answer the question as to why the commission was raised from 2% to 12%. So it's been a day full of high drama through the national capital, culminating with the arrest of Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister. What may be the political fallout of this? What may be the ramifications of this, both for the AAP and for the BJP? And most importantly, how may this play out in the run-up to 2024? Let me now go across to our reporters who are joining us live from the ground. Yash is joining us from outside Manish Sisodia's residence, where just moments ago, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagat Singh and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal reached Mr Sisodia's residence. Anshul is also joining us live from the CBI headquarters. Yash, first things first, we know that just moments ago, both Kejriwal and Bhagat Singh reached Sisodia's residence. What is likely to be the AAP's sort of strategizing that's going on inside Sisodia's house right now?
Well, Zaka, yes, like you rightly mentioned, both the Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann and Arvind Kejriwal went inside Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia's residence, and in fact, in moving forward, the AAP will be actually formulating the entire strategy as to how they will be moving forward. On the one side, one is the legal strategy over here, which will be formulated by the senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party, and second will be the political strategy, which will be to counter the entire narrative which the Bharatiya Janata Party is now up in arms, and in fact they have raised many questions in the very press conference which was actually addressed by Sambit Patra, and in fact on the parallel lines another press conference were also addressed by senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party, where they in fact said that now the investigative agency will move forward in a very similar fashion that they had moved earlier, where they will be the matter will go to the court, and the proceedings will keep on happening. Until then, Manish Sisodia will be placed under the arrest. So what we can expect moving forward is the Aam Aadmi Party. We saw how the entire situation started this morning from this very place where the Aam Aadmi Party workers and Manish Sisodia started a roadshow, and then they went to Rajpath. Then at Rajpath, Manish Sisodia addressed all the workers and the media people, where he gave a very emotional pitch to it, where he said that yes, today I will be arrested and you have to take care of the Delhi and also the kids of the Delhi when I'm not around.
Okay, Yash, we'll leave it at that. We'll come back to you as and when there are further developments. We're getting a piece of breaking news, and this is an important one. CBI sources telling my colleague Arunima that Mr Sisodia could not answer when he was asked about crucial files which have reportedly gone missing in this Liquorgate scam. Multiple mobile phones were also changed by Mr Sisodia once the investigation began. They could have crucial evidence pertaining to the case. The investigating officer took a decision based on Mr Sisodia's nature of replies, as well as, of course, the prima facie evidence that the CBI says it has against the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister. Let me now go across to Arunima. Arunima, what more details do we have in terms of what is this missing files, and what was Mr Sisodia's reply when he was confronted about these?
So at least one file related to the excise policy has gone missing, is what I hear from officials who are part of the probe. This file apparently had details about why the excise policy was getting changed, which were the authorities whose permissions or whose consent was taken, how was the procedure followed, whether it was followed or not, who all were signatories on this decision to change the excise policy. All these details could have been procured by the investigating team by scrutinizing that file. But from what I hear, that file is nowhere to be found. Multiple searches have been carried out over the last 8 months or so. The Secretariat, the Delhi Secretariat and the Mr Sisodia's office there has been searched multiple times, but the file could not be located. Searches were carried out at his other premises as well. The file could not be located there as well. And when he was asked, this is what officials claim, that when he was asked about this particular file, his answer was quote unquote not satisfactory. He could not answer where this file was. The second charge is that it seems Mr Sisodia changed multiple mobile phones over the course of the last 10 months or so. Now, the investigating team suspects that his conversation using various chat platforms could have provided them crucial lead into this particular case, but since those mobile phones can't be tracked down, that's a crucial insight also that the team can't find out. And they want Mr Sisodia's custodial interrogation to try and locate these crucial piece of evidence. The third important thing they're saying is that, the charge that has been made by Abhishek Manu Singh, the senior advocate who is likely to represent Mr Sisodia, is that when he was not a flight risk, every time you have called him, he has responded and appeared before you. And this seems to be more like a paper investigation. Why did you feel the need to take him into custody? To which officials say that 41A of CRPC does provide the onus to the investigating team to take a person into custody. And the reasons I detailed above about missing evidence and also confronting him, the need to confront him with crucial witnesses, is the reason being given by CBI for why it decided to carry out the arrest today.
Okay, thanks very much for that, Arunima. We'll see how this plays out in court. Of course, he'll have to be produced in court within a 24-hour period. Let me also go across to my colleague Anshul, who's joining us live from outside the CBI headquarters, where I believe, Anshul, there has been a security bandobast. It's been beefed up just in the last hour or so. Just run us through, what is likely to happen next. There'll have to be a medical checkup. Mr Sisodia will have to be produced in court. What are the next steps now?
So yes, since he has formally been arrested by the CBI, the next procedure that goes on is that a medical legal certificate is made of the accused, in this case Manish Sisodia. So since he is a high profile accused, and it is actually very unsafe for the Delhi police, a law and order situation could arise, and hence it has been decided that the medical test of Manish Sisodia will happen inside the CBI headquarters. What we have been told from the way of sources, at approximately 10 PM, a team of doctors are going to enter the CBI headquarters where they are going to conduct this medical medical test, and this medical test will be valid for a time period of 24 hours, which means that once Manish Sisodia will be presented in front of the court, this is the medical certificate that will be presented in the court itself. The basic procedure is that the team of doctors will look at the health condition of Manish Sisodia, if he's in the right state of mind, if he is if there are any issues with his blood pressure, or if he has any previous issues that he needs urgent checkup on. So all that will be provided by these team of doctors, and this certificate will be made. So yes, in the next 1 hour we are expecting a team of doctors to reach out here at the CBI headquarters where this medical test will be done. If I tell you about the security arrangements, if I could show you in the visuals over here, the arrangements have already been beefed up out here. In fact, top sources within the Delhi police have told us that they have already issued a notice to all the police stations across the national capital, in which they have asked that there could be protests that could happen, and hence it becomes really very important for the Delhi police to make sure that any protest happening in any ward or in any area, that should be curbed at the earliest, so that a law and order situation does not arise. So yes, the next few hours are going to be really very interesting, as we are going to see Manish Sisodia being presented in front of the Rouse Avenue Court tomorrow, and if at all the CBI judge, if at all then decides to give CBI custody of Manish Sisodia.
All right, Anshul, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this story plays out through the course of the night hours, and of course tomorrow morning when he'll have to be produced in the court of law. Let me also bring in our political editor, Maria Shakil. Maria, politically, the battle lines are clearly being drawn by both BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. The AAP's response, of course, on expected lines, that this is political vendetta. This is further proof that the BJP central government is using IT, CBI, ED, etc. for political purposes. And the BJP's line has been, why is Sisodia not clarifying as to why the profit margins were increased, why private players were allowed, and why change an existing excise policy when it seemed to be working perfectly fine?
Yes, that's right, Zaka. But within the opposition space also, questions are being raised regarding the entire assertion of the Aam Aadmi Party of being a Kattar Imandar party. The larger question now is that, yes, in case of Satyendra Jain, the arrests happened, just weeks before the Himachal polls, and he was seen as someone who was in charge of the Aam Aadmi Party in the state of Himachal Pradesh. But here the arrests have happened at this time where there are no political expansionism of the Aam Aadmi Party is happening in any other state. Going ahead, there are no states where it will be a direct contest between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. So the timing, that is the reason why the timing is something that the Aam Aadmi Party will have to explain, in the sense that there is no political understanding of why Mr. Sisodia has been arrested today. Having said that, the youngest political party of India, Zaka, today faces the question of, is it really, a party which believes in anti-corruption? First, Satyendra Jain, a powerful minister, seen as number 3 in the cabinet of Arvind Kejriwal. Now Manish Sisodia, number 2 in the Aam Aadmi Party, and someone who continues to hold multiple portfolios. In case of Satyendra Jain, he has not been sacked from the ministry. He continues to be a minister in Arvind Kejriwal's cabinet. Same decision is likely to be taken in this particular case. But for the BJP, they are going to raise this question, as you heard from Sambit Patra and others, that is this party really a party of those who believe in anti-corruption? The BJP has been also questioning the Delhi model. This is the Delhi model which the Aam Aadmi Party promoted and campaigned for in the state of Punjab, which won them the state of Punjab. Now, all that will be put to test and question, given the narrative that will be set from tomorrow onwards.
All right, Maria, stay on with us. I'm getting another piece of breaking news. My colleague Ashish Mehershi is breaking this. I'll come back to you on this as well. The profit margin, this is this is as per CBI sources, that the profit margin for wholesalers in the liquor policy, the old liquor policy, was at 5%, and that was something that was recommended by the group of ministers in their own draft of the new policy as well. But for some inexplicable reason, this profit margin was increased from 5% to 12%. CBI sources believe this was done at the behest of, quote-unquote, the South lobby. Let me go across to Ashish Mehershi, who has more on this. Ashish, just put this together for our viewers, and of course, we will await a political reaction from, quote-unquote, this South lobby. But what is it that the CBI sources are telling you as to why this profit margin increase happened, and why the Aam Aadmi Party and Mr Sisodia in particular is not able to explain that increase of profit margin?
Zaka, before the policy came into being, when it came when it was implemented, there was an expert committee to the entire thing. Expert committee said that one, it should not go. The wholesale trade should be with the government, and the profit margin should also be around 5%. When it went to the GOM as well, the expert committee recommendations were accepted. But suddenly, if you see the statement of Arab Gopi Krishna, as well as if you see the statement of one C. Arvind, who's supposed to be the secretary of Manish Sisodia, they have accepted before the CBI, saying that suddenly the reason or without any process of law, they decided to give the entire trade of wholesale to the private players, and secondly, they increased the profit margin from 5% to 12%. Now, interestingly, the allegation is that from out of this 12%, 6% was basically paid as kickbacks to the Aam Aadmi Party netas. And this was basically done, as you said, quote unquote, because of the ask of the South lobby. That is what the South lobby demanded, and according to that, this policy was further changed. Now, interestingly,
All right.
it was, Zaka, one more important point is the file related to this is missing. This is what the real reason why Manish Sisodia has been arrested. What I have been told is by my sources is that file related to this implementation on how this margin was increased, this file is missing. He had no answer where that file is, and that is why the CBI had no other option but to arrest him.
Right. Thanks for that, Ashish. I'll get a quick word in, politically speaking, from Maria as well, and then I'll go to our guest. Maria, so the South lobby that's being referred to here is, of course, K. Kavita. Apparently, one of her close aides was also questioned earlier on in this scam. What has been the response from the BRS so far on this? And is it possible that this Liquorgate scam and the ramifications of it, the arrests, may not be restricted just to the Aam Aadmi Party or to the government of Delhi or officials therein?
Yes, certainly, Zaka. Look, K. Kavita's, accountant has already been arrested. There have been questions. She has been questioned as well. So the larger space is certainly being seen because, there is an axis of politics that have emerged with BRS and Aam Aadmi Party also coming together. And what is being seen as South group or South lobby is essentially what is being alleged, that an alleged businessman actually paid 100 crore for the Aam Aadmi Party to contest the Goa elections. In that, the alleged role of the BRS actually comes in. Now, what will be interesting to see is that if BRS actually takes a stand in favor of Manish Sisodia, while other political parties, including the Congress and the Trinamool, may continue to raise questions about the Aam Aadmi Party. So, in the opposition space also, it is going to get even more interesting going ahead because it will not just be BJP versus the Aam Aadmi Party, it will be very much Congress and other opposition parties versus the Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much for joining us, Maria. Let me now open this up to our panelists. We've got a full panel. This is a huge political story. It has ramifications not just for Delhi, but beyond that as well. Pooja Suri is BJP spokesperson, Abhinandita Mathur, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, Ishkaran Bhandari, lawyer and political analyst, and Dr. Irsan Trivedi, political analyst, also joining us. Abhinandita, let me start with you first. Yes, I mean, we've had multiple press conferences from your leaders. You're taking the line that this is political vendetta. But please answer a couple of very critical questions, very simple ones, but critical ones. Number one, why was this excise policy changed when the old one seemed to have been working perfectly fine? What explains the increase of profit margin of wholesalers from 5% to 12%? And most importantly, Mr. Sisodia was excise minister when this policy changed. Where is the file which recommended this change of excise policy? Why is that file missing?
Zaka, there are two aspects to this case. And one, of course, is the legal aspect. Whereas in the legal aspect, there are allegations and counter allegations and so on. And the law will take its course. But what is also apparent is the political aspect of this. Without getting into the details, because I don't have the details that, from the recent, from today's CBI allegations and whatever they have charges that they've framed. But it is very clear that what is happening in Delhi right now is just, one after another BJP's malicious political vendetta that, that they will just find allegations and arrest people. this is unprecedented in the sense that, there can be any allegations. There is, of course, a procedure set by law that you have to, follow and have inquiries. Manish Sisodia ji has been, very humbly, as he should, as a good citizen, has been actually, cooperating with all the inquiry or all the
Okay.
agencies. So we don't see where the arrest comes in, where 41C comes in, which is why we feel that it is just mere, distraction to get rid of any opposition. And this is, in some sense, a very, very unfortunate situation for the people of Delhi, because it is
So
clear
let
that
me
the
ask
DPM
Pooja
just
Suri
won't
what
let
Abhinandita is
Arvind Kejriwal
saying, what
work.
other Aam Aadmi Party spokespersons have said in the last hour or so is that this is political vendetta. This is yet another example of how the central government is using ED, IT, CBI, etc. for scoring political points, for going after opposition ruled states. Somehow these agencies never investigate or go after those in BJP ruled states.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at the
let
thing
Pooja
about-
answer that, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Zaka, first of all, Delhiites are tired of the buffoonery of Aam Aadmi Party, which they have been displaying since this question of excise policy has come up. I have very few questions to ask from my panelist of Aam Aadmi Party. That if you are so kattar imandar and you're so clean, why scared of the law? I mean, why are you getting scared? There is no point getting scared. Let the CBI
Madam,
work
who
on
is
its own
getting
and
scared? What are you
results
talking?
come
Have
out.
some,
Let me complete. Let me
be
complete.
present in this
One at a time,
conversation.
please. One at a time. One at a time, please. One at a
Allow me
time.
to
Pooja,
speak.
I asked the question to Pooja. Let Pooja finish. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, Laka, I have very basic question that if you are kattar imandar, then you should not be scared of anything.
Okay.
If you are kattar imandar, you should not be scared of anything. Point one. Point two, why have you raised that commission? You were getting the kickbacks. Now that file is also missing, which you deliberately did it. Also, when LG raised the issue of this scam, you rolled back the policy. See, these are very clear-cut questions. Every person is understanding. Once you were out with all this, you informed the people whom you had done the favoritism. So everything is going against you. Nothing is going to happen. You are making travesty of justice, nothing else. And secondly, the people for Delhi are tired. Now they're tired of your sloganeering instead of showing your true colors, and instead of feeling ashamed for what you have done. The Shiksha Mantri has become Sharab Mantri. You are going and portraying yourself as a patriot.
Okay,
To
let me go to
sloganeering,
Ishkaran Bandari. I think Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who may likely represent Mr. Sisodia in court when this matter comes up in court, he tweeted some time back saying, where is the case for arrest being made out? This was a case that was registered first by the ED over a year ago. The ED had multiple raids, called Mr. Sisodia for multiple rounds of questioning. They didn't find any material to arrest him, let alone even put his name in the charge sheet. Now the CBI is investigating the same case. After a year, what was the need to arrest Manish Sisodia when he clearly is not a flight risk? Ishkaran.
Zaka, what you are showing, as your sources are saying, that the file relating to the decision is not available. That becomes extremely important because most cases of arrest, at least in police custody, recovery is very important to be seen. Now, whether there is a scam or not scam, but the decision-making process has been encapsulated in the file. And the file missing is not an ordinary thing, as you well know. But on two aspects of this legally. First, Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister, had been summoned by CBI. After you have been summoned, you always have the legal option of trying to secure anticipatory bail. And if you get anticipatory bail, and there was enough forewarning in this case, it wasn't a case as if there was a midnight raid and somebody was caught red-handed. So when you choose, as per best knowledge, that you did not seek anticipatory bail, did not seek the protection of the court, that could be a legal strategy. But that also raises the question, why did you not feel comfortable that you will get anticipatory bail if the facts are so much in your favor? Now to the second aspect of arrest. Arrest is a decision of the investigative agency, and they will have to justify it tomorrow before the court of law. What I'm seeing from your news channel, and nobody has access to the file, is multiple times phone numbers were changed and some chat has been lost, which they want to recover. Second, a file relating to transaction is to be recovered. Those recoveries are considered by the courts as sufficient grounds to arrest anybody, and the rest of the things, the defense of the accused, in this case Mr. Sisodia, or
Okay.
the CBI case, the court will have to judge.
All right. Let me also ask Irsan Trivedi. I mean, irrespective of what happens in court, obviously this will be legally fought. In the court of public perception, how may this play out, especially in the run-up to 2024? The BJP's claim, or at least its political messaging, is A, Aam Aadmi Party needs to explain all of these discrepancies, and B, the larger political messaging is, here is this party that is Kattar Imandar, but they are not Kattar Imandar. They are like any other political party. The Aam Aadmi Party is saying that, look, do you want more proof of how the BJP is misusing agencies, going after Manish Sisodia, when they believe there is nothing against Manish Sisodia and this change of excise policy? Politically speaking, in the people's court, as it were, Irsan Trivedi, how may this story play out in the next 1 year?
So first of all, I mean, this is the irony of the case, that Manish Sisodia ji was arrested not because of finding evidence, but because of not finding evidence. Second thing, that he is accused in a way that there is since 1 year the whole political drama is going on, and definitely in MCD poll, Aam Aadmi Party did get benefit for this particular public sympathy and all that. And now BJP don't want to create in a way that just don't wait for any other election to come by, because if he is being arrested at the election time, that might be Aam Aadmi Party will be benefited again. So BJP is trying the best that let him capture in a way that there is no political elections or something around this scenario. Second thing, they tried to create South lobby, as we saw in this particular channel, that there is an influence of South lobby. Maybe it will be backfired to BJP in a way that put the X on put the leg on X by its own, because what BJP is trying to do, like a boycott Bollywood. Will people go boycott BJP for the South? And BJP and allied parties in the South may create some backfire issue in particular upcoming elections in 2024. But I don't know that how the things are going on in a political way. I should say in a way that Aam Aadmi Party is focusing on one particular statement, that kitne bhi to kar le sitam, has ke sahenge hum, like a kind of scenario. And BJP is trying to do that.
Okay, just give me a moment. I think Kejriwal is speaking. Let's cut to the Delhi Chief Minister. Yes.
और झूठे केस में फंसा के उनको गिरफ्तार किया गया है। मनीष जी एक ईमानदार, देशभक्त और साहसी व्यक्ति हैं, जो 24 घंटे देश की सेवा में लगे रहते हैं। पूरा देश देख रहा है कि किस तरह से उन्होंने गरीबों के बच्चों को अच्छा भविष्य देने के लिए उन्हें अच्छी शिक्षा देना शुरू किया था। पिछले 75 साल में शायद ये पहला शख्स है जिसने सेवा में लगे रहते हैं। पूरा देश देख रहा है कि किस तरह से उन्होंने गरीबों के बच्चों को अच्छा भविष्य देने के लिए उन्हें अच्छी शिक्षा देना शुरू किया था। पिछले 75 साल में शायद ये पहला शख्स है जिसने हर गरीब के घर में एक उम्मीद जताई थी। रिक्शे वाला, मजदूर, किसान, गरीब आदमी, कि उसका बच्चा भी बड़ा हो के उसको अच्छा भविष्य मिल सकता है। सरकारी स्कूलों का कायाकल्प किया था। एक शरीफ आदमी है मनीष, उनको आज इन्होंने गिरफ्तार कर लिया। तो हम देख रहे हैं किस तरह से पूरे देश के अंदर शरीफों को, देशभक्तों को, अच्छे लोगों को, ईमानदार लोगों को तो पकड़ पकड़ के जेल में डाल रहे हैं, और जिन लोगों ने अरबों खरबों रुपए लूट लिए बैंकों के और इनके, वो इनके दोस्त हैं। उनके खिलाफ कोई एक्शन नहीं होता, वो खुलेआम घूम रहे हैं। उनको नोटिस देने की भी हिम्मत नहीं है लोगों की, क्योंकि वो इनके दोस्त हैं। पूरा देश देख रहा है, लोग देख रहे हैं, और लोग ही इसका जवाब देंगे। मैं और मान साहब अभी उनकी वाइफ से मिलके आ रहे हैं। उनकी वाइफ को काफ़ी सीरियस बीमारी है, मल्टीपल स्क्लेरोसिस, जिसमें ब्रेन जो है वो धीरे धीरे ब्रेन का कंट्रोल बॉडी के ऊपर खत्म होता जाता है। मनीष के जो बेटे हैं वो अभी बाहर पढ़ रहे हैं, तो उनके घर में अकेली हैं वो, और मनीष जी उनका ख्याल रखा करते थे। पर हमने उनको सांत्वना दी है कि चिंता करने की बात नहीं है, आपके पति बहुत साहसी हैं, देश के लिए लड़ रहे हैं, देश को, पूरे देश को मनीष जी के ऊपर गर्व है, और हम सब एक परिवार की तरह हैं और सब उनका ख्याल रखेंगे। एक मिनट।
देश के एक क्रांतिकारी शिक्षा मंत्री के तौर पर जाने जाते और आप ही के भाईचारे से एक पत्रकार होते हुए अपना सारा कैरियर छोड़कर आम आदमी पार्टी के फाउंडर मेंबर मनीष सिसोदिया जी को आज इन्होंने एक झूठे केस में गिरफ्तार किया है। मैं कहूँगा ये मनीष सिसोदिया की गिरफ्तारी नहीं है, लाखों बच्चों के भविष्य की और उनकी उच्च शिक्षा की अवमानना है। क्योंकि स्कूलों में अक्सर लिखा रहता है, अगर आप छोटों के लिए स्कूल बना दोगे तो बड़ों के लिए जेल बनाने नहीं पड़ेंगे, लेकिन स्कूल बनाने वाले को जेल भेजना ये सिर्फ बीजेपी का एजेंडा ही हो सकता है। वो नहीं चाहते कि देश शिक्षित हो, वो नहीं चाहते कि देश के लोग, युवा उच्च स्तरीय जो शिक्षा है वो देश में ही लें, क्योंकि उनको पता है कि अगर वो पढ़ गए वो सोचने लगेंगे तो जो हमारा नफरत का एजेंडा है उसको समझने लगेंगे, फिर हमें वोट कौन डालेगा। तो इसलिए आज जो मनीष सिसोदिया जी को सीबीआई ने गिरफ्तार किया है झूठे केस में, सख्त शब्दों में निंदा करते हैं हम। और ये अकेला मनीष जी को नहीं, पूरे देश में कोई भी देश के लिए बोलेगा, कोई भी इनके खिलाफ, तो अगर एक कोई किसी कॉमेडियन ने कमेंट कर दिया था उसको भी पकड़ लिया था, तो मतलब ये नहीं चाहते कि हमारी मर्जी के बिना कुछ हो। लोकतंत्र में ऐसा संभव नहीं है। हमारा देश एक गुलदस्ता है, तरह तरह के फूल हैं, हर फूल का अपना रंग है, हर फूल की अपनी खुशबू है, लेकिन ऐसा करके बीजेपी जो है वो डराना चाहती है, हमारी टीम को तोड़ना चाहती है कि ये इनकी टीम आम आदमी पार्टी की बहुत अच्छी बन गई है। ये गुजरात में भी गए, वहाँ 13% वोट लेके आए, ये पूरे देश में जाते हैं और हमारे बारे में बोलते हैं। अंदर किसको होना चाहिए था? अंदर होना चाहिए था जो LIC खा गए, जो बैंकों का पैसा खा गए, जिनके बारे में पूरी दुनिया में चर्चा हो रही है, अंदर उनको जाना चाहिए था। लेकिन वो खुले में घूम रहे हैं और जहाज़ों में जो है वो ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, और देश में स्कूल खोलने वालों को और दिल्ली का बजट 24,000 करोड़ से 72-75,000 करोड़ तक लेके जाने वालों को, देश की, दिल्ली की तरक्की कराने वालों को कह रहे हैं जेल में भेजेंगे। तो ये बहुत ही कायरतापूर्ण कदम है। आम आदमी पार्टी डरने वाली नहीं है। हमारी पार्टी एंटी करप्शन मूवमेंट से निकली है, रामलीला ग्राउंड से निकली है। हम किसी और पार्टी से निकाले हुए या छोड़कर आए हुए वो वैसे पॉलिटिशियनों की पार्टी नहीं है। हम लोग अलग अलग फील्ड से आए हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल जी एक इनकम टैक्स कमिश्नर थे, मनीष जी बहुत बड़े पत्रकार थे, मैं एक फेमस आर्टिस्ट था, कोई वकील था, कोई हम में से कोई टीचर था, तो कोई सोशल वर्कर था। तो आम आदमी पार्टी में हर समाज का हर वर्ग है, तो इसका जबरदस्त हम विरोध भी करेंगे। लेकिन डरा लें जितना इन्होंने डराना है, बाज उतना ही ऊपर उड़ता है जितनी हवा उसके विरुद्ध होती है।
साहब, दो चीजें बीजेपी कह रही है सर, विक्टिम कार्ड यू आर प्लेइंग। Mr. Kejriwal, BJP is saying that you are playing the victim.
All right, that was Kejriwal as well as Bhagwant Mann, their first comments after meeting Manish Sisodia's family. Let me get a quick word in from both Abhinandita and Pooja, and then I'll take a break after that. Abhinandita, I'm coming back to, yes, the Aam Aadmi Party is taking this in a political direction. Your response has been political, that Manish Sisodia was giving education, making education available for poorer kids, and now this is a move targeting against people who are giving education. But you're not answering the basic question that's being put forth, and that is, as Excise Minister, A, where is the file? B, what was the need to change the policy? And please explain why the margins for wholesalers was more than doubled. There has to be an explanation for it.
Yeah, Zaka, first of all, we have spent many months even on this show discussing in detail the liquor policy of Delhi. We still stand by it. We think that it is a progressive, good policy. There were problems in its implementation, courtesy, the BJP, and which is why we withdrew it. But let me just make one thing clear, that so far these are mere allegations. And I think your correspondent said a very important thing here, that today's arrest has not been made based on evidence, but because there was no evidence. So these are some very critical points. And if the BJP, or if the ruling party is so serious about scam, then where is the action about Vyapam? Why are we not discussing that today or any other day? What about the 3 very corrupt ministers who were allegedly found guilty in Uttar Pradesh recently? Then there is, of course, from a chota scam like Morbi to big scams, this whole situation with LIC and Adani with our tax money. So there are some very serious financial offenses and scams that are happening in this country.
Okay.
If there is any seriousness of this party, of the ruling party about those, there is plenty that they can do, but they find one small little party in Delhi and just attack it from all sides.
So Pooja Suri, again, what Kejriwal also said this, that, corruption, why are they not going after these big corporates? I don't want to take names here, but everybody knows who he's talking about. No action, not even notices sent to these corporates because they are considered, quote unquote, close to the powers that be. But in a liquor scam in a city like Delhi, you're going after Manish Sisodia because he's Kattar Imandar, as Kejriwal says. You have to unmute, Pooja. We can't hear you. Please unmute yourself. Pooja, you have to unmute your audio, please. Please unmute yourself. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Zaka, I would repeat myself. I'm saying I would like to give a statement here. तू इधर उधर की बात ना कर. तू मुद्दे की बात बता कि तुमने excise policy rollback क्यों की? She says that was the best excise policy. If that was the best excise policy, why did you roll it back?
No, she's saying because bad implementation, LG did not allow the implementation to happen properly.
That is a very old, slogan given by Aam Aadmi Party, that PM doesn't allow them to work, LG doesn't allow them to work. What work have they done? What work have they done? And moreover, I would like to answer that point, the point which she said, that this case is on the basis of not finding the evidence. This is not finding the evidence against the misdeeds which you did, against the misdeeds what you did in Delhi, because you were there to eradicate liquor from the alcohol and decide नशा मुक्त करना चाह रहे थे पंजाब को और दिल्ली को कर दिया नशा युक्त. So why these 2 people of Delhi? Why may Delhi suffering at your hands? And
okay.
Each time BJP raises this issue, you just relate it to political vendetta. I mean,
all right. What we'll do is, I want to thank our guests. I'm going to take a quick break here on the program. When we come back, we'll go to our reporters as well and get a sense of what is the situation as it stands right now. Quick break. We're back in 2 minutes.
They have absolute evidence in their hand. Not only this, there are certain companies who are basically, allocating. They were basically allocated licenses despite violation of the entire policy, which included cartelization. There were certain complaints against companies which were basically involved in cartelization. There were complaints against them, and despite that, Manish Sisodia ordered the excise commissioner, and he forced the excise commissioner to give the license. So there are many evidence which have come to light, and not only this, if you see the disclosure that C. Arvind, who was basically Manish Sisodia's secretary, a senior officer in the Delhi government, he has basically disclosed that during the GOM, when the GOM was done, there was no mention of 12% commission and the wholesale trade landing into the hands of private parties. In fact, the expert committee had very clearly said that the wholesale trade should be with the government. But suddenly, he was called at the residence of Arvind Kejriwal, and then the allocation of the entire wholesale trade with 12% commission, which is very high, it was given to the private trade.
Yes.
And then again, due to this, entire cartelization happened. people were given licenses for production, that is manufacturing. The same kind of people, same set of people were into manufacturing. They were also into wholesale trade, also into retail trade, and it was in utter violation of the entire policy. It is very clearly evident there were hawala channels which were used, where money from the South lobby. We all know that K. Kavita, the daughter of the current Chief Minister of Telangana, has also been named multiple times in various charge sheets and in remand notes. They have mentioned about 100 crore rupees exchanging hands. There were hawala channels which were used to bring money to Delhi.
The numbers are staggering, Ashish, as you're pointing out. The allegations are even more damning, and we are reporting live from outside the CBI headquarters. Nikhil and Anshul, my colleagues, join us live. Ashish, do stay on with me. We'll keep coming back to you for that perspective. But Nikhil, over 8 hours of questioning, CBI has now arrested Manish Sisodia.
Well, clearly, and this is the reason why all the people who are currently present outside the CBI headquarters, they are now in the alert position. This is the situation that we are going to show you for the very first time on the screen of the CNN News 18. All the police who were deployed outside in and around area, they have been called in towards the close proximity of the CBI headquarters, which is in the national capital Delhi, after the 8 hours long questioning, because this is something, Poona, which we were talking about since morning, that if the CBI investigative officers, if they feel unsatisfied with the answers given by Manish Sisodia, who is already said to be the kingpin and the mastermind behind the excise policy, and also mentioned as the accused number one in the FIR as well. If they are unsatisfied, then they are going to arrest him. So after 8 hours of questioning, he has finally been arrested. But now the other picture, Poonam, is going to start, because this is a big blow to the Aam Aadmi Party. Since this morning as well, we have been telling all our viewers that close to 18 crucial departments are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia, from PWD, Health, Education and Finance, and the other administration as well, including that of the major departments. They are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia. So clearly this is the major setback, and we have spoken to a number of leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. They in fact, they told us that the time which was...
The latest that we are now gathering is that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been placed under arrest by the CBI. This is in the case of the Delhi excise policy. Remember, he was accused number one as far as the FIR is concerned. Today was the second time around when Manish Sisodia was questioned. He has now been formally put under arrest. It is something that the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this morning, that he was going to be arrested. Looks like that has now happened. Manish Sisodia has been arrested by the CBI after over 8 hours of questioning. Several accused in the Delhi excise case have been arrested so far. Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, also the man at the helm of affairs of the excise policy, was accused number one in the FIR. He too has now been arrested. Anshul, my colleague, with more details. Yes, Anshul.
So yes, this information has been brought to us by our investigating editor Manoj Gupta, where it has now been confirmed that Manish Sisodia, after 8 long hours of interrogation, has finally been arrested by the CBI. What we have been told, that this the entire questioning that was happening, the CBI was not satisfied with the kind of answers that Manish Sisodia was giving, and hence they have decided to go ahead and arrest him. So yes, in the next.
It is the explosive weekend debate. We are on this developing story. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been arrested in the Liquorgate scam. He was questioned today by the CBI for over 8 hours, and a little past 7:30 this evening, he was served the arrest memo and formally arrested. Now, the charges ostensibly by the CBI against Manish Sisodia are A, destruction of evidence. He's not able to clearly explain where the file, which has gone missing reportedly, on why the excise policy was changed. He was also not able to give satisfactory answers on why the profit margins for wholesalers, which in the old excise policy was at 5%, was raised dramatically to 12% in the new excise policy when he was excise minister. And of course, the CBI is also alleging that there was destruction of evidence, there was falsification of accounts, and most importantly, prevention of corruption against a public official. Let me now go across to my colleagues. Yash is joining us live from outside Sisodia's residence, where moments ago we had Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, Bhagat Mann, the Punjab Chief Minister, and other leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. They reached Mr Sisodia's residence. They also came out and spoke to the media. So very clearly, Yash, the line that the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be taking is political, and that is that BJP is doing this because they're going after a Kattar Imandar party, and that this is again example of the BJP's high-handedness, use of agencies like ED, CBI, IT, etc. But they're not answering the fundamental question and the principal question, which is the discrepancies in the scam and why Manish Sisodia is not able to give convincing answers about some of those discrepancies.
Well, absolutely, Zaka. The word which is coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party, and in fact we saw and heard from Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann as well. The Aam Aadmi Party is in fact taking a political line in this entire matter, and in fact they're also pitching into the emotional pitch over here. And in fact we heard from both the leaders, and in fact they have maintained that Arvind Kejriwal has maintained that Manish Sisodia is innocent in this entire matter, and in fact he's an honest man who has been working for the community in the national capital, for the kids. He's been working relentlessly since they came to the power, and in fact they also took a jibe at the central dispensation as well, where they said that there are big.
All right, we'll try and go back to Yash in a moment. Anshul's also joining us live from outside the CBI headquarters. So is Nikhil. Anshul, first things first, what is the CBI saying, even by way of sources, as to why arrest was merited in this case at this stage? After all, this case was being inquired by the Enforcement Directorate. They looked into this matter for a good 6 to 8 months. Mr. Sisodia was called for multiple rounds of questioning, but leave alone arrest, they did not even name him in the charge sheet. So what is it that the CBI has found which merited arrest? What are they telling you?
So yes, the initial charge sheet that was filed by the CBI, in that the name of Manish Sisodia was not there. But yes, the CBI was continuously interrogating this entire matter, and the charge sheet that came to the fore, there were many startling revelations that were made in that charge sheet, and these were the at least 3 people were arrested by the CBI. All 3 people were very close aides of Manish Sisodia, and in fact the statement that came from his secretary C. Arvind, that is something that became the biggest pillar on which Manish Sisodia's arrest has been made today, because remember, in that statement it has very clearly been mentioned that a deal was actually made at least 6 months before the liquor policy was implemented, that a 12% fee would be taken, and out of this 12%, 6% would be given to the Aam Aadmi Party. So yes, this became the biggest pillar on which the developments that we are seeing today has happened, because Manish Sisodia, according to the CBI, did not satisfactorily answered these questions, and he was also evasive on many questions, such as the manner in which in a period of 6 months he destroyed 7 phones and several SIM cards, which has also been mentioned in the charge sheet, and Manish Sisodia was also not ready to reply on this, and both these contentions actually became the biggest pillars, and hence the CBI decided that since he was evasive and the CBI has the power under various laws of the CRPC to actually detain him, hence they have gone ahead and detained him today itself. So yes, it remains to be seen once Manish Sisodia is presented in front of the court tomorrow at approximately 11 a.m. is the time we are being told that Manish Sisodia will be presented in front of the court. Once he is presented in front of the court, how does the CBI now defend its decision to arrest Manish Sisodia? Because yes, the arguments that will come from the Manish Sisodia side are very, very clear, that he is not on flight risk. He has been participating in the investigation, and as and when the CBI has asked him to join in. So what is the need to arrest him? But yes, it is up to the court to decide as to for how many days will the court allow a CBI custody for him. But yes, at this point in time, what we are being told that no movement of Manish Sisodia is likely to happen from the CBI headquarters because of the law and order situation in the national capital. And also another information that we are picking up, that the leaders who were actually taken into custody this morning by the Delhi police, those leaders have still not been released. So yes, it remains to be seen if the Delhi police will take any action against those leaders and will actually file an arrest against them as well. So yes, that clarity needs to come in some point. But yes, the protesters and the leaders who were taken into custody, they still haven't been released. So yes.
So let me ask that to Nikhil as well. He was also there in the morning covering some of these protests. Mr. Sisodia went to Rajghat. There was a a very clear sort of political mobilization, an attempt to try and carve out some kind of a political martyr image for him that was being made just before he went in for questioning. Now, what is the Aam Aadmi Party planning to do, Nikhil? Will there be again agitations and the kind of protests that we saw Sunday morning? Will that continue as well? Because the Aam Aadmi Party, it is in its political interest to try and keep this issue alive.
Well, Zaka, as far as the plans are concerned, to not allow them to make huge plans, this is the reason why all those leaders, big leaders, including MPs, MLAs and the minister from the Aam Aadmi Party in the national capital, they were detained by the Delhi police earlier today this morning because they were creating obstruction in the traffic movement as well. And this is the tweet which has been put out right now, a while back, by Sanjay Singh, that a couple of leaders from the Aam Aadmi Party, close to 50 of the leaders, in which 42 are men, 8 of them are women, are arrested by the Delhi police. But the Delhi police continues to maintain that they were detained because the section 144 has been imposed in and around the national capital where the CBI is headquartered in the city. But the official confirmation is awaited, and this is the reason why the leaders continues to be in the if we go by the details, they are in the presence of the Delhi police, that they should not be allowed to make major of the strategy. And also talking about the strategy, there is huge deployment of the Delhi police personnel. There were multiple layers of the barricading as well, which are deployed not just towards the entrance side, but towards all those places, all those roads which leads towards the CBI headquarters here in the national capital. And in fact, after the news which broke in first on CNN News 18 that Manish Sisodia has been arrested, additional deployment is now seen outside this particular area. In fact, not just the Delhi police, the paramilitary forces are also deployed in huge number, because the Delhi police at the same time they have to maintain law and order situation as well. This is the reason why a strict vigil is being kept by the Delhi police. In fact, we have been given to understand by the highly placed sources, Zaka, in the Delhi police, that the Delhi police is on the alert mode to make sure that no protest should take place or anything should untoward should be reported here in the national capital. This is also one such reason, Zaka, why the day was chosen as Sunday, because nearby to the CBI headquarters there are many of the offices as well. To avoid the traffic congestion and to avoid many of the protests, this is the reason why Sunday was chosen. So yes, there are some of the strategy which is being made now. It is on the Aam Aadmi Party as to how they are going to reflect
All
this
right, it's
on
going
the
to be
first
interesting,
day
because
of the
if
week,
they
that is
decide
tomorrow.
to agitate, if they decide to protest through the course of this coming week, and it's an important week because you have the G20 foreign ministers meeting beginning on the 1st and 2nd, and then you have the Raisina dialogue, all of this happening in central Delhi. And if the Aam Aadmi Party is going to have these protests, and inevitably that is going to lead to traffic delays, that is something that needs to be closely watched out for as well. But let me get Maria Shakil or Arunima, my colleagues, to try and get the big picture on this. If Maria is there, all right, we'll try and go across to them in just 1 second. So just to recap what's been going on through what has been an action-packed Sunday here in the national capital. Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, after an 8-hour-long questioning at the CBI headquarters, has been arrested formally by the CBI in the liquor gate scam. The CBI's contention is that he's not able to give satisfactory answers as to why the excise policy was changed, why the profit margins of private players was increased by more than double, and most importantly, where is the file that outlined why the policy was being changed despite the group of ministers recommending otherwise? Where is that file? That file has gone missing. So let me go to Ashish Mershi and I'll get the final word from him. Ashish, all of this, is this basis to arrest a Delhi Deputy Chief Minister? Because you heard what Abhishek Manu Singhvi said, that neither is Mr Sisodia a flight risk, and he has cooperated all the times that the CBI or the ED have called him for questioning. So then why the need for arrest? And that too in the same case when the ED opened this investigation close to a year ago.
If you remember, Zaka, in the morning itself, we did this story from CBI and ED sources which revealed that there are certain, statements given by people who were basically, occupying senior positions in the Delhi government, which included R.F. Gopi Krishna and C. Arvind, who were supposed to be the secretary, as well as, the excise commissioner. they both accepted that, there were instructions given by Manish Sisodia which were in violation of the policy. And that is why, this arrest has happened. Now, this is basically, he was evasive during questioning. He was, shown the evidence during questioning. And one of the important files, which was basically related to, the decision made where the wholesale trade was one given to the private players instead of the government players. And secondly, the percentage was increased from 5 to 12, where allegedly, around 6% of the 12% was given as kickback to the senior Aam Aadmi Party netas by the South lobby. So these are certainly, big allegations which are basically supported by evidence. And finally, since, he was not cooperating and evasive during questioning, they had no option but to arrest him.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this story plays out. Like I said, it'll play out legally in the court of law, but more importantly, politically, it'll play out in the court of public opinion. So that's a wrap. Thanks very much for tuning in, but coverage continues right on the other side.
The latest that we are now gathering is that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been placed under arrest by the CBI. This is in the case of the Delhi excise policy. Remember, he was accused number 1 as far as the FIR is concerned. Today was the second time around when Manish Sisodia was questioned. He has now been formally put under arrest. It is something that the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this morning, that he was going to be arrested. Looks like that has now happened. Manish Sisodia has been arrested.
If you see, the kind of evidence that they have been able to collect over a period of time, it very clearly shows that there was huge amount of money that was exchanging hands, especially the South lobby. The money reached into the hands of certain people, especially an event management company, from where the cash was distributed during Goa elections. They have absolute evidence in their hands. Not only this, there are certain companies who are basically, allocating, they were basically allocated licenses despite violation of the entire policy, which included cartelization. There were certain complaints against companies which were basically involved in cartelization. There were complaints against them, and despite that, Manish Sisodia ordered the excise commissioner, and he forced the excise commissioner to give the license. So there are many evidence which have come to light, and not only this, if you see the disclosure that C. Arvind, who was basically Manish Sisodia's secretary, a senior officer in the Delhi government, he has basically disclosed that during the GOM, when the GOM was done, there was no mention of 12% commission and the wholesale trade landing into the hands of private parties. In fact, the expert committee had very clearly said that the wholesale trade should be with the government. But, suddenly, he was called at the residence of Arvind Kejriwal, and then the allocation of the entire wholesale trade with 12% commission, which is very high, it was given to the private trade.
Yes.
And then, again, due to this, entire cartelization happened. People were given licenses for production, that is manufacturing. The same kind of people, same set of people were into manufacturing. They were also into wholesale trade, also into retail trade, and it was in utter violation of the entire policy. It is very clearly evident there were hawala channels which were used, where money from the South lobby, we all know that K. Kavita, the daughter of the current Chief Minister of Telangana, has also been named multiple times in various charge sheets and in remand notes. They have mentioned about 100 crore rupees exchanging hands. There were hawala channels which were used to bring money to Delhi.
The numbers are staggering, Ashish, as you're pointing out. The allegations are even more damning, and we are reporting live from outside the CBI headquarters. Nikhil and Anshul, my colleagues, join us live. Ashish, do stay on with me. We'll keep coming back to you for that perspective. But Nikhil, over 8 hours of questioning, CBI has now arrested Manish Sisodia.
Well, clearly, and this is the reason why all the people who are correctly present outside the CBI headquarters, they are now in the alert position. This is the situation that we are going to show you for the very first time on the screen of the CNN News 18. All the police who were deployed outside in and around area, they have been called in towards the close proximity of the CBI headquarters, which is in the national capital Delhi, after the 8 hours long questioning, because this is something, Poonam, which we were talking about since morning, that if the CBI investigative officers, if they feel unsatisfied with the answers given by Manish Sisodia, who is already said to be the kingpin and the mastermind behind the excise policy, and also mentioned as the accused number one in the FIR as well. If they are unsatisfied, then they are going to arrest him. So after 8 hours of questioning, he has finally been arrested. But now the other picture, Poonam, is going to start, because this is a big blow to the Aam Aadmi Party. Since this morning as well, we have been telling all our viewers that close to 18 crucial departments are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia, from PWD, Health, Education and Finance, and the other administration as well, including that of the major departments. They are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia. So clearly this is the major setback, and we have spoken to a number of leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. They in fact, they told us that the time which was...
The latest that we are now gathering is that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been placed under arrest by the CBI. This is in the case of the Delhi excise policy. Remember, he was accused number one as far as the FIR is concerned. Today was the second time around when Manish Sisodia was questioned. He has now been formally put under arrest. It is something that the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this morning, that he was going to be arrested. Looks like that has now happened. Manish Sisodia has been arrested by the CBI after over 8 hours of questioning. Several accused in the Delhi excise case have been arrested so far. Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, also the man at the helm of affairs of the excise policy, was accused number one in the FIR. He too has now been arrested. Anshul, my colleague, with more details. Yes, Anshul. Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 and our rolling coverage here continues with me, Poonam Burde. It was just a few hours ago that Manish Sisodia was arrested by the CBI after about 8 hours of questioning. This is for his role in the alleged scam as far as the Delhi excise policy is concerned. Several reasons why he was placed under arrest by the CBI. The most important one is that there were dissatisfactory answers that came to the fore when he was being questioned. There were several missing links, one specific missing file that the CBI is looking for. When confronted about that, when questioned about that, Manish Sisodia could not provide a satisfactory answer. That was one of the reasons why he was arrested as far as the CBI's case goes. Now remember, in this particular case, the Enforcement Directorate is also investigating a parallel case, but this arrest has been made by the CBI. We are expecting the medical test of Manish Sisodia to take place anytime now. He, of course, will be produced before court tomorrow. The CBI has 24-hour time period before they can produce him to court, before they have to produce him in court, which is why we're going to see that happen tomorrow. My colleagues are getting us the very latest from on ground, because this is not just about the investigation, it's also about the politics that is peaking with each passing minute. Anshul, my colleague, joining us live from outside the CBI headquarters. Anshul, the medical test of Manish Sisodia as per procedure is expected to happen anytime now. Now, usually in such cases, we see the accused being taken to a hospital for a medical test. But given the sensitive nature and how high profile this case is, we're given to understand that the medical teams are going to be brought to the CBI headquarters.
Well, yes, that is the plan of the CBI. In fact, that was the plan of the CBI. Now what we are being told is that the medical test of Manish Sisodia will happen tomorrow itself, because it is already very, very late, and it is the CBI team does not feel appropriate for a team of doctors to come all the way here to the CBI headquarters and conduct this medical test. Hence, now it has been confirmed from the way of sources in the CBI that yes, this medical test that was supposed to happen at 10 p.m. This medical test will happen tomorrow itself. But yes, as you mentioned, the test will happen inside the CBI headquarters and Manish Sisodia, it is very, very unlikely that Manish Sisodia will be taken anywhere for this medical for his medical test, because remember there is a time frame of 24 hours, and before he is presented in front of a court, MLC needs to be done. And now what we are being told is that approximately at 11 a.m. is the time when Manish Sisodia will be presented in front of the CBI court tomorrow, that is in Rouse Avenue court. So yes, what is going to be very, very interesting to see tomorrow, if the CBI court will actually agree to give CBI custody of Manish Sisodia, because remember there are a lot of arguments in the favor of Manish Sisodia, as his legal team has been pointing out that he was not at flight risk. He has been joining the investigation each and every time the CBI has asked him to come and join the investigation. So yes, the arguments that would be placed in front of the courts are going to be very, very interesting. But also on the other hand, what we are being told is that CBI has also looked into all the legal aspects of this case, and after a good deal of research and thinking, they have come out with this decision to actually arrest Manish Sisodia, because yes, there are certain proofs now against Manish Sisodia that are very incriminating in nature, right from the statement of his secretary C. Arvind to the manner in which he changed several phones in a time period of 6 months. That comes under destruction of evidences. All these questions were actually asked to Manish Sisodia. He was not able to answer these questions. Also, the statement of Vijay Nair was also presented in front of him, where again there were allegations against Manish Sisodia that he was in some way or the other involved in making sure that money is siphoned off to the Aam Aadmi Party. So yes, all these allegations that the CBI was probing, all these questions were asked to Manish Sisodia, and according to the CBI, he did not give any satisfactory answer, and that is the reason why the CBI has now decided to arrest him. So yes, the next 24 hours in this entire controversy is going to be very, very interesting, because what happens tomorrow in court will actually decide the future course of action that the Aam Aadmi Party will take. Because remember, the CBI is actually very confident that they are going to get his custody for the next few days, and once the CBI gets that custody, then it is going to be a very uphill task for the legal team of Manish Sisodia to get him out of the CBI custody and probably out of jail. So yes, the next 24 hours are going to be very crucial, not only for the Aam Aadmi Party but also for Manish Sisodia.
Absolutely. We already saw Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagat Singh meet with Manish Sisodia's wife. We are going to see the political fireworks as well that come out, because the BJP says this is nothing but vindication. They have been alleging that the Aam Aadmi Party is a corrupt party. Manish Sisodia and the policy that he was overseeing, there is something amiss. So they are claiming vindication. On the other hand, the Aam Aadmi Party says this is nothing but vendetta and witch hunt. Arunima, my colleague, also joining us live to give us more details as to what exactly led to the arrest of Manish Sisodia. Now, there's one particular missing link, Arunima, that the CBI is looking at, and that's this one file that Manish Sisodia was questioned about.
Yes, so they claim that this file has details about how the excise policy change was finally approved. Who were the people who approved of the change? Who were the signatories? Was there any authority as per the protocol who was missed? Was there anything amiss? All of these questions could have been answered if that file was found. But the CBI officials claim that when they asked Mr. Sisodia about this missing file, he said he was not aware, and repeated searches by the CBI over the last few months, searches carried out at the Delhi Secretariat, searches carried out at various premises of Mr. Sisodia, his residence, his office, lockers associated with him. None of them have given CBI any idea about where this file is. And because Mr. Sisodia was the minister in charge, they believe they are well within their rights to try and ask him as to where this is. The second question that CBI repeatedly asked him about, and they've been trying to ascertain this, is that their suspicion that Mr. Sisodia has changed various phone handsets over the last 6 months. Why were these handsets changed? Where are these handsets which were used by the Deputy Chief Minister earlier? The suspicion there being that when social media apps were utilized by Mr. Sisodia to communicate, would there have been crucial evidence which has now gone missing because his previous handsets cannot be traced? Is there a case of destruction of evidence? CBI officials say they want to confront him, ask him about these missing handsets, about the missing file. They also want to confront him with witnesses. One of them have turned approver. There are other witnesses, CBI claims. It also says that there is fresh evidence which has now come up. The reason why they have waited for so long, this was the second round of questioning at the CBI headquarters for Mr. Sisodia, CBI says that it's absolutely baseless to call it political vendetta because it was if this was politics, they could have arrested him on the first instance as well. But now that fresh evidence has come up, they called him for questioning again, and because he could not answer the questions that were put to him, they took him into custody. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who's likely to represent Mr. Sisodia in the court tomorrow, said that if he was not at flight risk and if he had repeatedly made himself available at CBI headquarters, why was the arrest made? To which CBI officials say that 41A, Section 41A of the CRPC allows the investigating officer the right to arrest somebody if they feel the need to question him in custody, and that right has been exercised by the IO. Right or wrong, we'll know once the remand application is presented before the special CBI court tomorrow.
Right, so it all comes down to what transpires in court, the legal battle that is impending for Manish Sisodia. We do know that he is going to be produced before the court tomorrow. Whether or not custodial interrogation is something the CBI seeks, whether that's something that is granted, all eyes will be on the court tomorrow for that. But the political fight over this is only escalating with each passing minute. We had Arvind Kejriwal and the Chief Minister of Punjab, Bhagat Singh, meet with the wife of Manish Sisodia just a short while ago. They addressed the media right after. They came out and said that this is nothing but vendetta. It is because the BJP cannot digest the fact that Manish Sisodia has been working for the people of the state, for the children of the state, especially as far as schooling is concerned. Now, news is trickling in thick and fast, and we are getting more information via sources within the CBI who have now confirmed that Manish Sisodia's secretary himself disclosed to the CBI that he was instructed at the house of Arvind Kejriwal by Sisodia to give wholesale businesses to private entities. The fixing of the percentage margin, which was 12%, 6% was allegedly paid as kickback. Now, this is an admission that the CBI claims was made by the private secretary of Manish Sisodia himself, which is why the evidence against Manish Sisodia is extremely grave, is also extremely watertight, is what the CBI believes. Ashish Mehershi getting us more details. Ashish, there are several links that are being investigated. There are also several witnesses that whose statements are going to be corroborated with as far as Manish Sisodia's questioning goes.
So, three areas of concern for Manish Sisodia. One is the statement by C. Arvind, who was the secretary for Manish Sisodia. Second is the statement of R.F. Gopi Krishna, who was the excise commissioner. And thirdly, the missing file. These are three areas of concern. First area is that, the secretary to Manish Sisodia, C. Arvind, he had accepted before both the CBI and the ED that, at least till when the GOM was basically discussing about this policy, there was no mention of the increase in percentage to wholesale businessmen for around 12%. The earlier policy was around 5%, and this was substantially increased to 12%. The other recommendation of the expert committee and the GOM was that the wholesale business should be with the government entity, not with the private players. But suddenly, without even a proper procedure was followed, Manish Sisodia at the house of Arvind Kejriwal, this is what C. Arvind has said, that at his house, Manish Sisodia instructed that the percentage should be increased to 12% and the business should go into the private hands. This is something really, really grave allegation against Manish Sisodia. The other important aspect is there were certain allegations, complaints against cartelization. Now, interestingly, despite, there was, so many complaints against a company named Indo Spirits, which where the owner Samir Mahendru is behind the bars as of now. He's not got bail. Interestingly, R.F. Gopi Krishna, who was the excise commissioner at that point in time, he had accepted before the CBI and the ED that despite the issue being raised, Manish Sisodia instructed him to give the license to Indo Spirits, which is being owned by Samir Mahendru. Now, interestingly, why sources in the CBI tell me there's an important file which is basically about the decision of how it should be given to the private players, how the percentage should be increased. This file, which got important notings, is missing from the office of Manish Sisodia. Now, on being asked by on this, on being asked by the CBI sleuths on this issue, Manish Sisodia had no answers. If you remember, recently there was a CBI team visited the office of Manish Sisodia as well, where it was being said that there is a search by CBI, and ultimately it was revealed that it was not a search. It was basically they wanted to look at the file of this important file. They wanted to find out about this important file. At that point in time as well, they were not able to find this file. Today, even when he was confronted about this file, he had no answer. That is what my sources in the CBI tell me, that Manish Sisodia had no answer on where this file is. So certainly grave allegations, these three areas of concern. First is on how the statement of Arab Gopi Krishna. Second is the statement of C. Arvind. And third is this important issue of missing file.
Yes, so there are three things that the CBI had in mind when they placed him under arrest. But this is nothing but vendetta, claims the Aam Aadmi Party. Arvind Kejriwal himself spoke about it just a few minutes ago. Listen in.
एक शरीफ आदमी है मनीष, उनको आज इन्होंने गिरफ्तार कर लिया। तो हम देख रहे हैं किस तरह से पूरे देश के अंदर देशभक्तों को, अच्छे लोगों को, ईमानदार लोगों को तो पकड़ पकड़ के जेल में डाल रहे हैं। और जिन लोगों ने अरबों खरबों रुपए लूट लिए बैंकों के और इनके, वो इनके दोस्त हैं। पूरा देश देख रहा है, लोग देख रहे हैं और लोग ही इसका जवाब देंगे। मैं और मान साहब अभी उनकी वाइफ से मिलके आ रहे हैं। देश को, पूरे देश को मनीष जी के ऊपर गर्व है और हम सब एक परिवार की तरह हैं और सब उनका ख्याल रखेंगे।
The latest that we are now gathering is that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been placed under arrest by the CBI. This is in the case of the Delhi excise policy. Remember, he was accused number 1 as far as the FIR is concerned. Today was the second time around when Manish Sisodia was questioned. He has now been formally put under arrest. It is something that the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this morning, that he was going to be arrested. Looks like that has now happened. Manish Sisodia has been arrested.
He was called at the residence of Arvind Kejriwal, and then the allocation of the entire wholesale trade with 12% commission, which is very high, it was given to the private trade.
Yes.
And then again, due to this, entire cartelization happened. People were given licenses for production, that is manufacturing. The same kind of people, same set of people were into manufacturing. They were also into wholesale trade, also into retail trade, and it was in utter violation of the entire policy. It is very clearly evident there were hawala channels which were used, where money from the South lobby. We all know that K. Kavita, the daughter of the current Chief Minister of Telangana, has also been named multiple times in various charge sheets and in remand notes. They have mentioned about 100 crore rupees exchanging hands. There were hawala channels which were used to bring money to Delhi.
The numbers are staggering, Ashish, as you're pointing out. The allegations are even more damning, and we are reporting live from outside the CBI headquarters. Nikhil and Anshul, my colleagues, join us live. Ashish, do stay on with me. We'll keep coming back to you for that perspective. But Nikhil, over 8 hours of questioning, CBI has now arrested Manish Sisodia.
Well, clearly, and this is the reason why all the people who are currently present outside the CBI headquarters, they are now in the alert position. This is the situation that we are going to show you for the very first time on the screen of the CNN News 18. All the police who were deployed outside in and around area, they have been called in towards the close proximity of the CBI headquarters, which is in the national capital Delhi, after the 8 hours long questioning, because this is something, Poona, which we were talking about since morning, that if the CBI investigative officers, if they feel unsatisfied with the answers given by Manish Sisodia, who is already said to be the kingpin and the mastermind behind the excise policy, and also mentioned as the accused number 1 in the FIR as well. If they are unsatisfied, then they are going to arrest him. So after 8 hours of questioning, he has finally been arrested. But now the other picture, Poonam, is going to start, because this is a big blow to the Aam Aadmi Party. Since this morning as well, we have been telling all our viewers that close to 18 crucial crucial departments are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia, from PWD, health, education and finance, and the other administration as well, including that of the major departments. They are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia. So clearly this is the major setback, and we have spoken to a number of leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. They in fact they told us that the time which was
latest that we are now gathering is that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been placed under arrest by the CBI. This is in the case of the Delhi excise policy. Remember, he was accused number 1 as far as the FIR is concerned. Today was the second time around when Manish Sisodia was questioned. He has now been formally put under arrest. It is something that the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this morning, that he was going to be arrested. Looks like that has now happened. Manish Sisodia has been arrested by the CBI after over 8 hours of questioning. Several accused in the Delhi excise case have been arrested so far. Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, also the man at the helm of affairs of the excise policy, was accused number 1 in the FIR. He too has now been arrested. Anshul, my colleague, with more details. Yes, Anshul.
This information has been brought to us by our investigating editor where it has now been confirmed that Manish Sisodia, after 8 long hours of interrogation, has finally been arrested by the CBI. What we have been told, that this the entire questioning that was happening, the CBI was not satisfied with the kind of answers that Manish Sisodia was giving, and hence they have decided to go ahead and arrest him. So yes, in the next 24 hours, we are expecting him to be presented in front of the Rouse Avenue Court, where the CBI is going to ask for a custody of his as well. So yes, it has now finally been confirmed. We are breaking this first on CNN News 18 that yes, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been arrested by the CBI.
That's the big breaking news that we are getting first to our viewers here on CNN News 18, that Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal's right-hand man, has now been arrested by CBI after over 8 hours of questioning at the CBI headquarters. Now this morning, Anshul, the Aam Aadmi Party, Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this.
Well, yes, the entire top brass of the Aam Aadmi Party has been claiming that they knew from sources within the CBI that he is going to be arrested. But yes, this time around, if you see the kind of evidence.
Welcome back. Manish Sisodia has been arrested in the Delhi liquor excise policy alleged scam. He is accused number 1 as far as the FIR go. There have been several allegations in that particular scam that Manish Sisodia faces. One of the biggest reasons why he has been put under arrest today after over 8 hours of questioning is because he was evasive. He could not give satisfactory answers, and that really is the crux of what the CBI is looking at. My colleagues continue to get us the very latest. Nikhil is reporting from outside the CBI headquarters. Yash is live from Sisodia's residence. Yash, are we expecting any more Aam Aadmi Party leaders to camp there perhaps? We did see Bhagat Mann and Arvind Kejriwal just leave Manish Sisodia's residence a short while ago.
Well, Poonam, there are certain leaders who are still present over here inside Manish Sisodia's residence, but largely all the leaders have left from this residence, including Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann, and in fact, Saurabh Bhardwaj was also here a moment back, and in fact, leaders like Dilip Pandey. So all these leaders are very much inside Manish Sisodia's residence. What we're given to understand right now is that a strategy is being formulated by the Aam Aadmi Party right now. There will be a two-course action is what we're hearing right now. First, the Aam Aadmi Party will be thinking about the legal matter in this entire case, where they will be knocking the doors of the court. And in fact, the other is the political matter. So right now, the narrative also which came in from the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann was an emotional one. In fact, where they once again lamented on the very fact that Arvind Kejriwal said that yes, he has been arrested, but he's still an honest man. In fact, this is all political vindication.
Yes.
What is a vendetta, what is happening right now. And on the other hand, the BJP is saying this is vindication and the law is taking its due course. So the other side of the spectrum where the BJP stands, they were actually up in arms continuously since
this entire matter began way somewhere around July last year, when this entire case came to the fore.
It's been close to a year of investigation. Several
that
other accused in the case have also been arrested. They've been in jail with bail denied to most of them. Do stay on with me. Nikhil also joining us live from outside the CBI headquarters. And what are the scenes like there, Nikhil, given that law and order in this particular case is precarious? We saw the kind of protest the Aam Aadmi Party leaders and supporters took part in all through the day today. What kind of security deployment is in place at the CBI headquarters now?
So Poonam, speaking of the security deployment, these are the visuals we are showing you from outside the CBI headquarters. So just a few meters away from this particular place is the Central Bureau of Investigation headquarters, and there are multiple layers of the barricading which have been put here since this particular morning. And not just the Delhi police, in fact the paramilitary forces have also been deployed in huge number. And this is a particular layer which could only be seen on the screen, but after a few distance there is huge proper deployment of the police personnel. This is the reason why the Delhi police senior officials as well, they had visited this particular site to keep a check on the law and order situation. If we talk about the further details, the DCP of the South District in the national capital, Chandan Chaudhary, she was also here this morning to take a stock of the overall situation. This is the reason why Section 144 has been imposed in and around this area, so that nobody is allowed to...
So absolutely no chances being taken by the Delhi police or by the administration. Tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow Manish Sisodia is going to be in court. Whether we're going to see Aam Aadmi Party supporters and leaders out on the streets, we'll keep an eye out for that here on CNN News 18. But that's all we could pack in for you in this edition of news. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Done. There was no mention of 12% commission and the wholesale trade landing into the hands of private parties. In fact, the expert committee had very clearly said that the wholesale trade should be with the government. But, suddenly, he was called at the residence of Arvind Kejriwal, and then the allocation of the entire wholesale trade with 12% commission, which is very high, it was given to the private trade.
Yes.
And then, again, due to this, entire cartelization happened. People were given licenses for production, that is manufacturing. The same kind of people, same set of people were into manufacturing. They were also into wholesale trade, also into retail trade, and it was in utter violation of the entire policy. It is very clearly evident there were hawala channels which were used, where money from the South lobby. We all know that K. Kavita, the daughter of the current Chief Minister of Telangana, has also been named multiple times in various charge sheets and in remand notes. They have mentioned about 100 crore rupees exchanging hands. There were hawala channels which were used to bring money to Delhi.
The numbers are staggering, Ashish, as you're pointing out. The allegations are even more damning, and we are reporting live from outside the CBI headquarters. Nikhil and Anshul, my colleagues, join us live. Ashish, do stay on with me. We'll keep coming back to you for that perspective. But Nikhil, over 8 hours of questioning, CBI has now arrested Manish Sisodia.
Well, clearly, and this is the reason why all the people who are currently present outside the CBI headquarters, they are now in the alert position. This is the situation that we are going to show you for the very first time on the screen of the CNN News 18. All the police who were deployed outside in and around area, they have been called in towards the close proximity of the CBI headquarters, which is in the national capital Delhi, after the 8 hours long questioning, because this is something, Poona, which we were talking about since morning, that if the CBI investigative officers, if they feel unsatisfied with the answers given by Manish Sisodia, who is already said to be the kingpin and the mastermind behind the excise policy, and also mentioned as the accused number one in the FIR as well. If they are unsatisfied, then they are going to arrest him. So after 8 hours of questioning, he has finally been arrested. But now the other picture, Poonam, is going to start, because this is a big blow to the Aam Aadmi Party. Since this morning as well, we have been telling all our viewers that close to 18 crucial departments are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia, from PWD, Health, Education and Finance, and the other administration as well, including that of the major departments. They are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia. So clearly this is the major setback, and we have spoken to a number of leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. They in fact, they told us that the time which was...
The latest that we are now gathering is that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been placed under arrest by the CBI. This is in the case of the Delhi excise policy. Remember, he was accused number 1 as far as the FIR is concerned. Today was the second time around when Manish Sisodia was questioned. He has now been formally put under arrest. It is something that the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this morning, that he was going to be arrested. Looks like that has now happened. Manish Sisodia has been arrested by the CBI after over 8 hours of questioning. Several accused in the Delhi excise case have been arrested so far. Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, also the man at the helm of affairs of the excise policy, was accused number 1 in the FIR. He too has now been arrested. Anshul, my colleague, with more details. Yes, Anshul.
This information has been brought to us by our investigating editor, where it has now been confirmed that Manish Sisodia, after 8 long hours of interrogation, has finally been arrested by the CBI. What we have been told that the entire questioning that was happening, the CBI was not satisfied with the kind of answers that Manish Sisodia was giving, and hence they have decided to go ahead and arrest him. So yes, in the next 24 hours, we are expecting him to be presented in front of the Rouse Avenue Court, where the CBI is going to ask for a custody of his as well. So yes, it has now finally been confirmed. We are breaking this first on CNN News 18 that yes, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been arrested by the CBI.
That's the big breaking news that we are getting first to our viewers here on CNN News 18, that Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal's right-hand man, has now been arrested by CBI.
Hello and welcome to ET20. I'm Shilpa Ratnam, and this is the show where we get you all the latest updates from the world of showbiz and we connect you to the newsmakers of the moment. On the show today, the dangers of a selfie. Neha Dhupia and Angad Bedi spill the tea about their relationship. And the classy Anjali Shivraman reveals the advantages of being both an actor-singer. The demand for a selfie has now resulted in an FIR. The son of an MLA manhandled Sonu Nigam and his aides in the clamour for a selfie at a music festival in Mumbai. The singer filed a complaint with the police to serve as a deterrent.
कॉन्सर्ट करके उतारा था और वो जो आजकल आप लोग की जो सेल्फी और फोटोग्राफ का जो चला हुआ है ना, उसने पुश किया तो वो वीडियो में देखेंगे राइट हैंड साइड में पहले हरी को पुश किया है. उसके बाद जब मुझे पुश किया तो मैं गिर गया, देखा होगा वीडियो में मैं नीचे गिर गया हूँ. हाँ, मैं स्टेप पे गिर गया. तो अगर मैं साइड में तो मैं गिर जाता, तो मैं स्टेप पे गिरा तो मुझे बचाने के लिए रब्बानी आए और रब्बानी को तो उसने ऐसे पीछे किया तो उसके बच गया वो.
An influencer sparred with cricketer Prithvi Shaw allegedly over a selfie. Aditya Roy Kapoor was also harassed by a fan who attempted to forcefully kiss the actor. Akshay Kumar's head was twisted a full 180 degrees for the selfie. The picture mania doesn't just stop there. Even the paparazzi are accused of harassing the stars. Alia Bhatt has lashed out at a publication for training their telephoto lens right into her residence. She posted, "Are you kidding me? I was at my house having a perfectly normal afternoon, sitting in my living room when I felt something watching over me. I looked up and saw 2 men on the terrace of the neighboring building with a camera right at me. In what world is this okay and is this allowed? This is a gross invasion of someone's privacy. There's a line that you must not cross, and it is safe to say that all lines were crossed today." Anushka Sharma, Janhvi Kapoor, Arjun Kapoor and Karan Johar also supported the actress and lambasted the photographers for the invasion of privacy. Some photographers such as Varinder Chawla as well have supported Alia Bhatt and have agreed that this crossed the line.
मैं जब ये फोटो देखे थे रात को ही, जब मुझे पता चला था और मैंने जब बहुत लोगों के ट्वीट देखे, चीजें देखी, मैं एकदम शॉक्ड हो गया था. मुझे तभी समझ आ गया था कि ये बहुत गलत हुआ है और इसके ऊपर एक्शन होने वाला ही है।
Ajay Devgan has been spearheading various social work initiatives via his social work wing, NY Foundations, and it's now focusing on ground zero work in over 200 villages. His daughter Nisa Devgan was present to inaugurate some digital libraries and attempted to interact with the students in Hindi. However, witnessing her struggle to form even a single simple sentence in Hindi, many online slammed Kajol and Ajay for forcibly putting her in such an uncomfortable situation for an image makeover when she is not familiar with the language clearly.
आपको करते हुए देख के जो मुझे इतना पसंद है, मुझे और भी खुशी है और मुझे मन होता है कि आप कभी पढ़ना बंद मत करो क्योंकि आपके लिए इतना अच्छा होता है.
Shah Rukh Khan's Pathaan has now crossed the rupees 1,000 crore mark at the worldwide box office. The other films already in the 1,000 crore club are Aamir Khan's Dangal, S.S. Rajamouli's Bahubali 2 The Conclusion, and RRR along with Yash's KGF Chapter 2. Pathaan, that hit theatres a month ago, is still going strong. YRF slashed ticket prices to rupees 110, which further reduced the collections of Kartik Aaryan's Shehzada. The remake of Allu Arjun's hit Ala Vaikuntapuramlu tanked at the box office without a trace.
इतनी educated, talented, disciplined, cute, कड़क, टोटा, पटोला, लंबे टांगों वाली.
लात भी अच्छी पड़ती है इनसे.
Alia Bhatt, Varun Dhawan and RRR were the big winners of this year's Dada Saheb Phalke International Film Awards, not to be confused with the actual Dada Saheb Phalke Awards. These are awarded by a private body. While Anupam Kher's Kashmir Files won Best Film Award, RRR took home the Film of the Year award at this star-studded event. Alia Bhatt took home Best Actress and Rekha was honoured for her contribution to Indian cinema. Varun Dhawan was named Best Actor and Kantara fame Rishabh Shetty was honoured for Most Promising Actor. The evening's biggest highlight was the love between Rekha and Alia that the fans witnessed on the red carpet. BTS's ARMY was slammed with one piece of news after another. First, BTS leader RM revealed that his song Closer is now a theme song for the South Korean movie Decision to Leave. Then the Run BTS Special 2023 episode Mini Field Day Part 2 dropped on YouTube. And if that wasn't enough, member Jimin decided to announce the release date of his solo album too. Big Hit Music shared an official announcement regarding Jimin's first solo album called Face, which will be released on March 24th at 1 p.m. KST. Real life husband and wife Angad Bedi and Neha Dhupia are coming together but not on screen. This is behind the mic. They play husband and wife in social distancing. That's an audible show. It's actually about a couple that wants to separate but the lockdown is announced. And to spill more tea about that show and their relationship, Neha and Angad.
Rags, I want both of you to close your eyes and think of a time when you were happy.
Now here's a couple whose arguments are so explosive that they can power a small city. I'm talking about Neha Dhupia and Angad Bedi. And I'm talking only about your on-air avatars, guys.
Oh my God.
When you have not seen us on off.
Yeah, I was worried about this introduction. I was like, how does she know it? Does she live somewhere close by? Can she hear our argument?
No, I think from like what I've seen of you in public, in even your private appearances, you guys look too loved up. But when you have a show on relationships, can it get a little bit meta? I think it's the first time you guys are coming together as well, right?
Yes. Can it get meta? Does it get meta? The truth is that, we're playing husband and wife. Are we playing Savvy and Rags? That is our character, yes, in the show. Are we those people in real life? I'd say no. There are characteristics of Rags which are very similar to Angad, and I'll let him take on and answer that. But as far as Savvy is concerned, you know, here's a housewife who's kind of given up her professional dreams and she's working around whatever her husband wants, and all hell breaks loose because there's a pandemic, and you know that's why it's called social distancing. And right at the brink of it, there's a husband who wants to actually come out clean that he's having an extramarital affair. Now, whether he comes out clean, whether he doesn't, we don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I know there are no similarities between you and Rags and that secretary or whatever that is. I'm not going to ask how much of it is inspired from real life. But like, what was it like playing this, reliving the horrors of the pandemic for you?
First of all, the pandemic was scary.
Yeah.
It was extremely disturbing, and you know, I don't know how we've come out of it, but God bless everybody who's still around and doing well and pulling themselves out of it. But this show, it's very different. It's got a very humorous take on the relationship. It is very, very. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of situational comedy. And there's a lot of struggle that very earnestly how this man Raghavan Rao is, though being a leadership coach, and you know he's trying, what he does for a living is he uplifts people and tells them how to go about their lives. And here his own life is in a mess. You know, he's in between his wife and his secretary, and he genuinely believes that he's in love with his 24-year-old secretary, which is, you know,
which probably true.
Which causes all the drama. And then how he wants to, you know, he lives in Dubai, but he wants to fly to Mumbai to be with his love interest. And then from Dubai they move to Goa, from Goa to Maldives.
Just you, me, and the ocean. It's beautiful.
Anaya.
What?
Anaya.
Who's Anaya? His office manager.
I love Anaya.
Your office manager makes you happy.
Exactly.
Yes. So tell me, I saw the trailer for this, which was a visual one, and I thought even that looked very interesting, right? But when they come to you with an audio book, would you not say that, you know, we have faces made for the screen? Why are you coming to us and putting us?
We would love that. Like if this was to be taken to video, we would love that too. More because we believe in the content, and the more people that consume the audio series on Audible will help us have faith in what we've made and love it as much as we did. That could result into anything.
Also, sometimes the want should be more, I feel. What happens is it's a good way, you know, audio series is a good way to, you know, have social distancing, you know, targeted towards the audience. Reason being is that the want of having more of it.
Yeah.
Because when you put down the 12 episodes, there are some are 17 minutes, some are 20, some are 22. You know, eventually when it ends, the first season ends, you want the second season to begin immediately.
Yeah, even on the read, I wanted that.
You know,
like it
so
was
that
so
it's
good.
So you will leave your audience hanging,
Yes,
is it?
you do.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate,
Yeah,
but we
but
will,
we do.
so that you ask for season 2 and
You ask for season 2
that's
and so
terrible.
forth. Yeah.
Don't think I don't know about your show.
cut it out, Rags.
Savi, I love you, and I mean the best for you. But this, I can't.
Rags,
Stop.
you can't be serious.
Have you guys heard this show yourselves, or are you guys? Oh, what did you think about it? Do you
love it?
Yeah.
I mean, read it again, and then read it, and then
Read it again, read it, performed
it, and then now heard it.
You heard it too, okay?
Yeah.
But you like when I hear my voice notes, for instance, I cringe. How do you feel about your performance?
I don't mind. I
You
don't
don't
mind it. I've actually heard a lot of my voice, so I don't.
And it's a
cringe.
nice voice.
No, not true. So is yours. I don't cringe, but I'm just very familiar with it. So and then you know, and for everything else, you have a great director.
Yeah.
And that's what Simran handles. And then there's post-production. So when it actually comes out, it sounds really nice.
If given a choice during a drive, would you listen to some fun songs or would you listen to an audio series?
When I'm on my own,
Yeah.
definitely a series would be a good one.
Oh.
But when I'm, you know, with everyone else, because I get choice number 4 in the car. Ever since we've been married, I've never heard a single song that I wanted.
You sing all the rhymes, yeah.
Yeah, I like Flowers, where I've just like
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, but I made everybody else believe that, you know, you love this song, because everybody loves the song. But then first I had to introduce Angad to the song, and then my daughter and my son, of course, he does everything. In 16 months. But
our son has my taste in music.
Mine's also Punjabi, though I'm not Punjabi at all. But
Yeah.
I love only Punjabi music.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our son's a huge kind of Diljit Dosanjh, Sidhu Moosewala fan.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can
So
imagine.
you
Yeah, he
just
gets
know.
angry if you don't play those. That music.
Same. Very relatable.
AP, that kind of music.
yeah.
Yeah. But then our daughter is like everything, and she introduces.
She's Miley Cyrus and
Eva Max, and
Eva
she's
Max.
introduced us to all that.
Yeah.
But did you have to buy yourself flowers yesterday, or did Angad
I have
do the
never
needful?
bought my wife flowers.
No, you did actually. You once on Valentine's.
When?
Many years ago.
Many
What,
years
6 years? 5 years ago? 6 years ago? 5 years ago?
Oh, when I was just your friend.
Yes. He's bought me lots of presents when we were not dating.
I remember I bought her a bag once. It was a green bag. She very recently
The
carried.
green bag, what is the design? Like, what is the label?
Jimmy Choo.
Okay, so this is what men do, right? They say blue bag, green bag.
Yeah. He's like, he walked in, he's like, I'm
What
at
an
some
insult.
store. Yeah. But he's like, I'm at a store in town. Should I buy you a bag? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, I'm going to buy you a green bag because I know you don't have a green bag. He brought it home and I was like, oh my god, what is he going to show?
That time I had
green.
80,000 rupees. So green bag 67,000
Oh
rupees
my
ka
god,
tha.
how cute. And he
I
got a
still
green-
have it and it's one of the coolest bags I have.
Oh wow, but it's like saying green car. It's like saying I bought a green car.
Then I
don't
bought you
know
an
which
iPad
car,
also.
right?
Remember?
No, that's because I was in Ahmedabad. I landed at the airport and someone nicked my iPad. And the first person I called was Angad. He's like, why are you crying? I'm like, someone nicked my iPad. And this was my first iPad. When I got home, he was there in my house with an iPad.
Oh my god. And this is when you were just friends.
Just friends. And he I think he
मेरे
had...
पास पैसे नहीं होते थे
He would
जो
spend
थोड़े होते थे
all
मैं
his
सेव
cash
करके
on
ना
me.
Oh my god.
I used to get
And
her
I would
that.
never ask him for anything. I was just not like I was telling him to like get me things. But he was just like, I'm like, why does he do this?
Now I understand why people in Bollywood say we're just good friends.
नहीं रख भी लेती थी.
For instance, it was his birthday last week. You also kept all the gifts very nicely.
Up to, yeah,
It's not
I
like
mean,
you didn't.
yeah.
You also kept.
No, but now तो I
But now I
legit
tell
ना.
him what I want because I don't trust his taste.
She has good taste, na? She has good taste. And vice versa.
She's good. She's good.
No, he doesn't have very good taste.
Maybe I married you, na?
Yeah, but you lucked out. Come on, hear yourself. What do you mean
Look,
you
I
pack
look
your
after the
and
family,
go where?
financially,
Guys,
look after
what do
the
you
son,
mean?
everything. I'll
Come
do
on,
everything. Come on.
rags, please.
Guys,
listen.
What?
And with that, we're slipping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere because on the other side, we have more news and views coming up.
Over 8 hours of questioning, CBI has now arrested Manish Sisodia.
Well, clearly, and this is the reason why all the people who are currently present outside the CBI headquarters, they are now in the alert position. This is the situation that we are going to show you for the very first time on the screen of the CNN News 18. All the police who were deployed outside in and around area, they have been called in towards the close proximity of the CBI headquarters, which is in the national capital Delhi, after the 8 hours long questioning, because this is something, Poonam, which we were talking about since morning, that if the CBI investigative officers, if they feel unsatisfied with the answers given by Manish Sisodia, who is already said to be the kingpin and the mastermind behind the excise policy, and also mentioned as the accused number one in the FIR as well. If they are unsatisfied, then they are going to arrest him. So after 8 hours of questioning, he has finally been arrested. But now the other picture, Poonam, is going to start, because this is a big blow to the Aam Aadmi Party. Since this morning as well, we have been telling all our viewers that close to 18 crucial departments are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia, from PWD, health, education and finance, and the other administration as well, including that of the major departments. They are currently in possession of Deputy CM Manish Sisodia. So clearly this is the major setback, and we have spoken to a number of leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. They in fact, they told us that the time which was...
The latest that we are now gathering is that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been placed under arrest by the CBI. This is in the case of the Delhi excise policy. Remember, he was accused number one as far as the FIR is concerned. Today was the second time around when Manish Sisodia was questioned. He has now been formally put under arrest. It is something that the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this morning, that he was going to be arrested. Looks like that has now happened. Manish Sisodia has been arrested by the CBI after over 8 hours of questioning. Several accused in the Delhi excise case have been arrested so far. Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, also the man at the helm of affairs of the excise policy, was accused number 1 in the FIR. He too has now been arrested. Anshul, my colleague, with more details. Yes, Anshul.
This information has been brought to us by our investigating editor Manoj Gupta, where it has now been confirmed that Manish Sisodia, after 8 long hours of interrogation, has finally been arrested by the CBI. What we have been told that the entire questioning that was happening, the CBI was not satisfied with the kind of answers that Manish Sisodia was giving, and hence they have decided to go ahead and arrest him. So yes, in the next 24 hours, we are expecting him to be presented in front of the Rouse Avenue Court, where the CBI is going to ask for a custody of his as well. So yes, it has now finally been confirmed. We are breaking this first on CNN News 18 that yes, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been arrested by the CBI.
That's the big breaking news that we are getting first to our viewers here on CNN News 18, that Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal's right-hand man, has now been arrested by CBI after over 8 hours of questioning at the CBI headquarters. Now this morning, Anshul, the Aam Aadmi Party, Manish Sisodia himself had predicted this.
The entire top brass of the Aam Aadmi Party has been claiming that they knew from sources within the CBI that he is going to be arrested. But yes, this time around, if you see the kind of evidences that CBI had, CBI considered it sufficient.
Welcome back to ET20. I'm Shilpa Ratnam, and up next we have Anjali Shivaraman, the star of the Netflix show Class. She's in conversation with my colleague Vishal Chatkara, and she spills a lot about the series, which is an official remake of the Spanish show Elite. And she also talks about the advantages of being an actor-singer. Also about why OTT content in India today is catering more to the millennials than to her generation.
हैम्पटन इंटरनेशनल, दिल्ली का सबसे महंगा, सबसे टॉप स्कूल। अजीब से परिवारों के बिगड़े बच्चे, मैंने जिंदगी में ऐसा स्कूल नहीं देखा था।
तेरा कट जाएगा यहाँ पे, बच के रहना।
तुमसे बच के रहना है क्या?
Anjali, first, congratulations for the success of your show Class.
Thanks.
You know, everyone is talking about your performance as Suhani. But to you, what is the most meaningful compliment that you have received so far for your role in this series Class?
Mostly that it was extremely believable. A lot of my friends and my family who watched it told me that at a lot of points they completely forgot who they were watching and that they even knew this person, and that it was almost like they were just looking into Suhani's life.
Love is a distraction.
मुझे पता है, बहुत cute है.
The show, which is set in this hip Delhi school, talks about inequality in the society. It talks about class divide. It has a lot of drugs and sex. Now you play this rich girl who falls in love with this guy who comes from the lower strata of the society. How convinced were you with the whole story, and did you have any doubts about your character when you started work on this series?
Yes, of course. I initially had doubts about the character, mostly because I haven't personally experienced what she has gone through. So it did take me a little bit of time and, a little bit of research in the way of talking to people, maybe trying and getting a little more insight into the world to understand where she was coming from. And I feel like it did a pretty good job in shedding a light on all of these separate worlds that people live in. And it kind of brought to light what is going on behind closed doors.
What was it the director or the cast members all you wanted to say with this series?
This particular show talks about so many very relevant subjects that are not just happening in India right now, but in the world. And it kind of sheds a light on each of these subjects, but in a very nuanced and beautiful way. And that's where Oshim's magic comes into play, because he's a very detail-oriented person. And I think each character really just wanted to do justice to the person that they were trying to portray. And that is what we were trying to say, that this is who we are, this is our life, have a look at what we have to go through in life.
तेरे बॉयफ्रेंड को प्रॉब्लम ना होगी तो मेरे साथ डांस कर रही है
ये सब चीजें मेरे को मैटर नहीं करती।
क्या मैटर करता है तू
मेरे पास आता है, मैं उनकी लाइफ खराब कर देती हूँ। तुझे मुझसे दूर रहना चाहिए।
According to a recently published report which says India has no OTT or TV content for its nearly 50 crore Gen Z population, population that you belong to. I think this show has been able to establish a connection with today's generation.
Yes, most definitely.
But as a Gen Z, as somebody from Gen Z, do you feel the OTT content is only catering to the millennial and not to Gen Z?
I do feel like content currently in India is working towards creating more content for the Gen Z population. However, yes, it does tend to favor millennials a little bit, but OTT in general is doing a pretty good job to cater to the Gen Z population. I think definitely. There's so many big shows like Never Have I Ever and Riverdale. All of these shows are very Gen Z if you think about it.
And in Hindi?
And in Hindi, maybe something like Mismatched.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Now Class.
Definitely. You know, your Instagram bio says actor, model, singer by the day. Now I heard a couple of your songs. Do you think in future we'll see Anjali singing in a series? Or maybe do you think as an actor that gives you an edge over others?
As singing, yes, I do feel. I think any talent like singing or dancing gives any actor an edge over the others. And yes, I hope I do sing for a series in the future.
And also in a movie as well.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll do playback because I'm a jazz blues singer and they don't usually go for jazz blues singers in playback. But hopefully. At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over. And life is like a song. Oh, yeah. At last.
BAFTA awards have been handed out and David Daniel has the highlights in today's Hollywood Minute.
All Quiet on the Western Front made a lot of noise at the BAFTA Film Awards, England's biggest night in film. The German World War II drama led the way Sunday with 7 awards, including Best Film and Best Director, as well as Adapted Screenplay and Original Score.
Call Sonny Larry. Didn't you and he used to be the best of friends?
We're still the best of friends.
No, you're not.
The Banshees of Inisherin picked up 4 BAFTAs, including Supporting Actor for Barry Keoghan and Supporting Actress for Kerry Condon. Lead acting honors went to Cate Blanchett for Tar and Austin Butler for Elvis, which also received Costume Design and Makeup and Hair Awards.
The animated comedy series Animaniacs comes to a close with its 3rd season, now streaming on Hulu. Ricky Damigella reports.
Totally insane, excessive spit taking. The 21st century incarnation of the Animaniacs comes to a close with its 3rd and final season.
I think I know where this is going.
I don't, so no spoilers.
We're so grateful. Mo and I have won the lottery. Tress, Jess, all of us, to get a chance to do this again with some of my very best friends in the world, all of whom, I mean, Emmy winners, great talent, unbelievable.
It's bittersweet. We wish there were more, and someday maybe there may be in some other form. But gratitude for getting to be these characters again.
I am so grateful for the Animaniacs, for being a voice actor, for having my health, and for living in a time when you could make a living and make a life doing what we do.
It's like having a superpower, Rick, because sometimes you have this connection to people that they don't know exists, and you could be at some ritzy restaurant, right? And they're everybody's in a tuxedo vest, and all of a sudden you go, yeah, well, watch cartoons? Well, yes, sir, I have watched cartoons. Did you ever watch, in this case, Animaniacs? And then you go, well, it's very good to see you, Bob. Thanks for taking care of us. And they turn into an 8-year-old. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man, because all the composure drops and they just go, oh my God. And it's a beautiful power and it's a beautiful thing to have.
Come, Tinky, back to the lab to plan for tomorrow night.
Why, Brian? What are we going to do tomorrow night?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You can't do this to us! We have more episodes to star in!
Laughing till I collapse in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
It's a wrap on the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, remember to tune in here. Same time, same place next weekend. Until then, remember to stay safe and stay entertaining.
The first time the interrogation went on for almost 12 hours, where he was allowed to go back from the CBI office at 11 p.m. in the night. But today, this time around, since there were already 3 arrests that were made by the CBI, also Manish Sisodia's name came up in destruction of evidences, where he went ahead and changed several phones and destroyed several SIM cards during a time frame of six months when this policy was being implemented. So now the CBI had all these proofs. Also, the CBI had statements of the accused who have already been arrested in this entire matter. In fact, Manish Sisodia's Secretary C. Arvind himself said that a deal had broken in Arvind Kejriwal's house in presence of Manish Sisodia, where it was very clearly said that the licenses should be given to wholesale licenses should be given to private players, where a 12% cut should be taken out of this. 6% should be given to the Aam Aadmi Party. So